UConn is a wagon again this year, and he is a large part of that again. To me, I've seen the things that I wanted to see out of him to like buy into this kind of like lumbering center that doesn't shoot threes as a potential lotto guy. Obviously, this class helps make that argument for him, because if you're just looking for good players, I think that he's starting to get a little underrated as people get bored of him, because he has just been productive whenever he's on the floor. It's just sometimes he's not on the floor.
Corey, I think for me, it's not even the on the floor stuff. Like, he had a 6-assist game against Georgetown.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like, that's great, right? That's the type of stuff we were looking for with Clingan. But his injury stuff is all with the lower half of his body, and he's gigantic. Like, he's not just tall, he's huge. He's 7'2". They're listing him at 7'2", 265. That's a lot of weight. That's a lot of size. And he's already kind of like a bigger, burlier guy, right? And if his injuries are going to be all lower half, feet, all that's, the history on foot issues with bigger guys is terrible, always bad. I feel like the one anomaly so far has been like Kevin Durant, right? But it's always rough to have these guys. And so, Corey, I think if we're just looking at on-floor product, of course, I'm right there with you. To have a 7'2" guy that plays the way that he does, as you mentioned, right? He's been great this year. And he's just so much to handle, especially on the college level, to be that big and to, have his offensive package. It's tough, right? But on the next level, if he's going to have to prove to teams that he can stay healthy, and that's a really tough thing. Joel Embiid had the same issue, right? I mean, Embiid obviously way more talented, better player, but he was a huge injury risk, and the reason why he dropped a little bit in his class, right? But with Clingan, it's never been the on-floor thing for me, at least in terms of this season. It's just he's missed time with lower half issues, and that's always scary.
It's all injuries for me. And ESPN has him listed at 280. So I think he came in, I think the big story was that he added 15, 20 pounds from last season. And I'm like, dude, you're already one of the biggest humans on the face of the earth. Why are you adding more weight? And for a guy who, wasn't the most in shape in high school, and now he's having multiple foot injuries, that really, really worries me. Like Albert said, all the on-court stuff is absurd. We're even seeing some of the passing now. His assist rate's up to 14, which is better than some of the guards in this draft class. He rebounds everything. The block numbers are just dominant. The post-finishing stuff is dominant. Good foul drawer. I worry about how much he leans on guys and kind of commits fouls on defense, but whatever. I think you can fix that once you realize that you're one of the biggest humans on the face of the earth. So I just stop bulking up, stop getting bigger. You don't need to be 280. So I really worry about what those medicals are going to say.
So I saw him earlier in the year, and I know that he put on weight according to the website, or I don't know. He looks lean though. He didn't look like it was bad weight that he had put on. Like some of it's probably just because he got a little older. Some of it was probably a concerted effort to get stronger.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of it.
But it was like when I was watching him, like, I don't know how much leaner he can really get. And if he's not carrying like the muscle, then it's just fat.
Right.
Weight, I don't know what his physical profile, and I don't know if that's a good thing that we don't know what his physical profile ultimately could look like. But I just, from a production standpoint, he's like one of the few college prospects that you can kind of be like, well, I know he's good, like for real. So at what point of the draft does the foot injury concern kind of go away? Because we saw Cam Whitmore last year dropped to 20. I know a lot was said about, whatever, him interviewing bad and who knows, but like really he dropped because of the medical red flags. And I think that if that draft happened again, just based on his play earlier in the year, teams would probably ignore some of those red flags, in the moment, because they haven't really reared their ugly head. So at what point do those red flags just become worth it?
I'd say after 10 for me. He's 15. So depending on the right team, I think anyone outside, kind of in that range who needs a center, I'm not sure there are many better swings in this draft to kind of take at that position, because I would be shocked if he didn't have a solid career for any other reason than injuries. And when I say solid, I don't mean, Hall of Fame starter, just minimal, kind of 20 minutes a night role player. I think that's kind of his baseline, given how dominant he's been in both these seasons. It's just the injuries really, really concern me. So it's going to be fascinating to see what the scuttlebutt is with those medicals.